Welcome to the Enchanted Ears podcast,
where we discuss anything and everything Disney.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Joe, and on today's episode, we are recapping what it is like to spend New Year's Eve at Walt Disney World.
I mean, it took us a long time to recover. That's why we were gone for so long.
Yes, that's why this episode is coming out like 3 weeks after New Year's, because it was such an incredible party. It took 3 weeks to recover from it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it really was. I mean, it is, and we'll get into it, but like, just as an overview, New Year's Eve at Disney, and even like the day, New Year's Eve mm-hmm. at Walt Disney World, it is unlike anything else you see at Disney. It is like an after hours party plus 10, like during regular park hours. Like it's a crazy thing to experience. I don't know that I'd do it again, but it was a crazy thing to experience. So.
I do know if I do it again. I absolutely would do it again.
But yeah, but it definitely takes some time to recover from it.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we were there for New Year's. We were there a couple days before. We did New Year's Eve at EPCOT. We did New Year's Eve at Magic Kingdom. I think just kind of like starting with just kind of like that time of year, it is obviously a very crowded time of year. Mm-hmm. And we've never gone down between like the Christmas and New Year holiday before, so mm-hmm. we'd only heard stories of how crowded it was. It is crowded. Those stories are all true.
It is exceptionally crowded. So if you're trying to go to Walt Disney World to ride rides, like, don't go during that time of year unless you just really want to do the experience, which is like the New Year's experience. That's what we wanted. We basically consigned ourselves to saying, like, we don't care at all if we really ride anything. I know, like, we were with people that had lightning lanes and things like that. They were able to get a hold of them. They were very vigilant about snatching those up. And obviously they were able to ride rides. We rode, I think...
We did the worst job planning a Walt Disney World trip. If you ever want to know, like, what to do when planning a Disney trip, don't do what we did. Because we literally went into this and we said, we are not doing any lightning lanes. We're not really planning any sort of like... We had a couple restaurant reservations. Our friends had some that we kind of tagged along for. So, but like... they were coordinating lightning lanes and attractions and restaurants. And we're just like, no, we're just going. We're just going to have fun. Like, we had no pre-planning at all. Our pre-planning was we want to be at EPCOT for New Year's. Yeah. And Magic Kingdom does their New Year's Eve fireworks twice on the 30th. So we said we want to go to Magic Kingdom that day so that way we can experience what their New Year's Eve fireworks are like. And that way we'll see EPCOT as well. So that was like the extent of our planning. So for two people that podcast about going to Disney and how you should plan your trip, we listened to absolutely no advice and did nothing. And just went. Because to your point, we knew it was going to be crowded. We had annual passes this year, so we had gone multiple times this year. So there wasn't anything we wanted to ride. There wasn't anything new. We went specifically just for the experience of being there.
I will say that you are underselling it a little bit, because there were things that we did plan on doing that we normally don't get to. So for example, the day that we did Magic Kingdom, we decided that we wanted to do the Pirates of the Caribbean, like, scavenger hunt, the treasure map, scavenger hunt.
So that's the tip, is like, if you're going, it is extremely crowded. I mean, we waited, and I think it was just weird timing when we got there, but we went to Hollywood Studios the Monday before New Year's, and we waited 20 minutes to get into the park, and it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock. So this wasn't rope drop. We didn't rope drop anything.
No.
And we were
systematically trying to get ourselves to be able to stay up later, knowing that on New Year's we would be up till like 2 o'clock in the morning.
So we got, and that was like our first day, and we were like, this is crazy. Mm-hmm. Is this how crowded it's going to be? Now, the rest of the days we really did not wait to get into the parks.
The other people,
those are the crowds that are there.
And like we were with almost at times like 3 other groups of people, depending on how the one group broke up, and nobody else really had stories about running into that. So I think we had caught it just kind of strangely. But I know, like, a couple of them were like rope dropping, and then a couple of them, like most of the rest of them, I think were pretty much just like filtering in to the parks whenever they saw
because they
fit.
had planned as well. They had
Yeah.
so we, I mean, that kind of opened our eyes. We're like, wow, it is very crowded. We were like, is this going to be like this the rest of the time? And it was not. It was very easy to get in and out of the parks, but there was some concern the other days of like, we need to go. And we basically, our plan is once we're in Magic Kingdom, we're not leaving. Once we're in Epcot, we're not leaving because we don't know if it's going to reach capacity. So to your point, and doing the other stuff, like the tip is, again, if you're going, it's going to be difficult to ride a lot of attractions because the lines were long, the crowds were long. So do some of the other lesser known things that like nobody really knows about and is doing because there's no lines for that sort of stuff.
And it turns out other people do know about it as well, because
but
not to the same extent.
Not to the extent. But yeah, but so the Pirate's Adventure is, I think, what it's called. It's at Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
You basically, it's right by the Golden Oak Outpost. There's like a little hut there that you can go. And this is something you always wanted to do.
Right.
So we finally
ever
had a chance
since
to
we
do
did
it.
the DuckTales thing over in Epcot, and we learned, I think recently in the past couple of years, because I know we covered it when we did Disney News, that that they added or like updated the Pirates of the Caribbean adventure. Like, so we finally were like, we're going to do this because we know it's something. Magic Kingdom's going to be a mess. Magic Kingdom is usually a mess, but especially so.
Tiki Room was standing room only.
Yeah.
Standing room only inside the Tiki Room. That's how crowded it was.
Yeah. And so we were like, we're going to do this treasure hunt thing. And it was funny because we kept going back. You have to go back to get like, kind of almost like check off that you've done it and get different maps. So and there were a couple times.
There's 5 maps in total, I think.
Yeah. And there were a couple times we went back to that hut and it was like the line was out the door. Like
it moves quick, but yeah, there was a line of people doing it.
But even then, I think like, I feel like
we were trend setting. Like we were going around having a lot of fun, and I feel like people were looking at us like, wow, what is this? We actually had some people stop and ask us and say, what are you doing? Where do you get this? And then we saw them later.
Well, that also happens when you do the DuckTales thing. People see you interacting with the environment and they're like, how are you making that happen? That's so cool.
We saw them later getting their own maps. We actually had to, at one point, ask somebody to move because they were sitting on one of the things and their family was like, look, you're sitting on the game or whatever. We had to make it activate. But that was a lot of fun.
Yes.
There is a lot of stuff hidden in Adventureland.
Yes, there is.
That never knew was there. It actually explained, and don't want to necessarily give too much away, but it explained one of the things we've always seen in the queue of Pirates of the Caribbean, where the fence, if you're in the queue of Pirates of the Caribbean, you look kind of across the walkway, there's a fence and it has like a circle in it. And you've always said, it seems like that's weird. Something. It should do something. And it does do something.
And it's funny because you were like, no, that's just part of it. I'm like, I don't know. It just like looks suspicious. Yeah. Well, yeah, it is suspicious.
It does do something.
So it was a really cool experience. Definitely something I will do again. I think it's repeatable. Just give it a little bit of time. We did all of the maps because we were having so much fun. And again, it was really crowded. Even getting to some of the different areas that where like the interactive bits were, like that was even difficult because of the crowds, and sometimes you were almost going against the crowds, but it was still a ton of fun. Just like seeing where it takes you, and like it made you go into certain different nooks and crannies that you haven't maybe seen. It was actually helping me get the lay of the land a little bit better in Adventureland because
you're using your map. You're like, oh, we gotta go here. This is over there. What's interesting about it? I had a lot of fun. I will say the one letdown of it is once you're done, it's just over. Like you don't. I thought you were supposed to get like a card, which you asked, and I think they gave you a card for completing one of the maps.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, this is kind of it, because there's 5 maps. We did 4 of them, and after the 4th one, it was like, congratulations, you're done. When we went to scan back in, and it was like, you're done. Do you want to start over again? And I actually asked the cast member. I was like, do you do all of them? And she was like, no, I guess you don't have to do all of them. Or sometimes they're not running all of them. And I said, oh, because we haven't done a 5th one and I wanted to do that.
It was the one that we wanted to do the most. Like it was the one I picked out first. It was the Blackbeard one.
Blackbeard. Yeah, you picked one out, but they randomly assigned you one. So she she went into the screen and she's like, oh, I can give you the last one. That's fine. But there really was no like grand ceremony that I did this. But what is interesting, because she kind of had to like break into the machine to force it to give me the one. It keeps track of how many people are doing each adventure, because that was one thing you were worried about. Like, hurry up, we have to go, because otherwise we're going to be seeing everything, because all the people are going to be doing the same thing. But it doesn't do that. It cycles it. So if it gives you one map, it's going to give me another map, so that I'm going to different places.
Yeah, it tries to spread you out.
Even if it gives you the same map, I think it gets you started at different
points,
at different areas. So it's interesting to kind of see that. But that's the one kind of downside. It's just like when it ends. I mean, there's a cool like finale with the stuff happening, but like you don't really get anything.
Right.
You get the maps. You can keep the maps, I guess, if you want.
Yeah, the maps are pretty cool. There were times where we were right behind somebody else, especially as the day went on. I feel like we started probably around, I don't know, I'd say like 11, 12.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Is probably when we started, and we probably kept doing it until like, because we like met up with people in between. We went and we watched, there was a show in front of like Tiana. They had performers there.
They have a lot of entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was really cool too, because again, we didn't have like a specific schedule, so we caught the tail end just by chance. And like really enjoyed the performers. So then I like texted the whole group and I'm like, hey, look, at 2:00 they're actually gonna be back. Like we should meet by Tiana's.
And they do a little bit of a different show. Like it was a little different.
It was different
time,
the second time. And they actually pulled our friend up to sing, which they definitely didn't do that the first time I watched. And so like that was cool, like that they got audience involvement in it. So
you were dancing? I think they had people,
yeah, they had like a line dance that they created. So it was just a lot of fun. The performers were excellent. She claimed to kind of like have, no Tiana, and so they sang some. It seemed like they sang some other songs that maybe have like roots in like New Orleans, and then they eventually like went over and sang some from Princess and the Frog. Yeah. So it was a really cool show that we definitely we went back and checked out a few times, because again, we were there to enjoy basically, I don't want to say the free offerings, like riding the rides is free offerings, but the things that normally we might be like too in a rush to check out.
Yeah, and really as we went around, like we did get on a few attractions. So we did do the Tiki Room. Again, that was standing room only. We rode It's a Small World. I think that was like a 45-minute wait though. Like we kind of just went around, and if the wait was reasonable or somebody else wanted to ride it, like we would wait in line. But we wanted to ride like Tron, for instance. That never got under like an hour and a half, maybe. I think an hour and a half was the lowest I think I saw. It
might have been when we were in Magic Kingdom. I feel like maybe it dipped down near like one of the fireworks shows, but we're like, no, we want to see the fireworks show. Right. Tron's always here. The fireworks show is not.
But, I mean, across the parks, like Guardians was 3 hours, Flight of Passage was 3 hours. I mean, stuff was just
we didn't ride any of those.
It was crazy. So we didn't wait for any of it. We did get to ride Dinosaur. We said goodbye to Dinosaur. We did get to ride that, but so like we got to ride a few things. So I don't want to say like we did absolutely nothing.
Oh yeah, and we rode Living with the Land I think 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, we got on.
We waited probably a half an hour the one time for Living with the Land.
Yeah, maybe
we waited a while.
20 minutes, half an hour. Yeah, that was the longest.
So again,
I've ever seen
a little demonstration of how what the lines were like. But yeah, it was a cool experience. Again, I never really felt like truly suffocated by the crowds. Again, going in with a recognition of like it is going to be very crowded. That was very helpful.
Yeah, during like the fireworks, during the parties and stuff, trying to leave, there were points where it was pretty shoulder to shoulder. Compact.
Oh yes, there was one time I will name. Yeah,
but I will say I was expecting more. I'm not gonna be able to walk around the parks at all without running into people. There definitely were pockets where it wasn't shoulder to shoulder. Again, it was crowded. I was just looking at wait times of like how many people were there. I think it also helped we really didn't ride the buses that much. So we stayed at
Swan and Dolphin.
Yeah, we stayed at the Dolphin.
Yeah.
And so when we were at EPCOT, we purposely stayed there because that way I knew, New Year's Eve, EPCOT was going to be crazy. I don't want to try to leave and get a bus with everybody else. So we were able just to walk back to the hotel, which made it nice. I feel like if we had to get on a monorail or a bus, that would have been insane. After the fact.
Yeah, that was a really good, like, that's a really good planning tip, though. Like, especially if you're planning on doing EPCOT, we were pretty much on our own time frame. Like, yeah, we were walking back at, 1:00 in the morning, and it's like about a mile walk. But again, like, that's so much preferable than to be at the mercy of the busing system and not being sure whether or not you're going to have to stand there and wait. It was cold out. So
it was very cold. It got down to like the 40s at night. And apparently there's a thing called Florida cold.
Yeah, we just learned
which
about
all
this.
the locals talked to us about. Like, we went to the boathouse for dinner the first night we were there. And the bartender, she was like, "Oh, it's Florida cold. It's going to be colder than you think because the humidity, which makes it hot, extra hot in Florida, makes it extra cold."
Yeah, because she said, the air is still moist. So because of that, like, it feels a lot colder than it actually is. And I mean,
it got cold.
It was quite cold. I feel like
we were somewhat prepared. I mean, we had layers. Like, we knew it was going to be colder. So it wasn't like a surprise necessarily, but yeah, it was still colder than I was expecting.
I was really cold New Year's Eve because my outfit wasn't quite like up to par. Like, I dressed a little cooler, like a little, well,
you dressed for it to be warmer.
Yeah, I dressed for it to be warmer, and then it was very cold. I was prepared for New Year's Eve, plus there was that whole one thing that we're going to talk about that was indoors, so that was
silent DJ.
Yeah, the silent DJ was indoors.
We'll get to that.
But I will say, of all of the things that happened while we were down there, the only thing that I regret was that we did not have the Pirates of the Caribbean lightning lane with our friends when Pirates of the Caribbean broke down.
Oh, yes. They got evacuated off of that.
They sent us the best, like, photos and videos. I mean, they turned the lights on.
They had the people, the cast members come out, and the waiters pushing the boat and everything. So yeah, they had quite the experience there. So we did miss out on that. Pirates that day was going.
It was off and on.
Yeah, it was off and on.
It was breaking.
It was off and on all day because that's when we were doing the Pirates adventure.
Yep.
And it was closed. It was open. It was closed. It was open. The whole time we were going back and forth on that. But the other benefit was staying at the Dolphin is even like when we went to Magic Kingdom on the 30th, they have a separate bus. There was nobody. There was like 4 people on that bus. Like, there weren't many people going. So even though we had to take a bus that day, and then we had to get the monorail to get to the TTC, but that wasn't that bad. So, like, I think avoiding transportation helped quite a lot. So Magic Kingdom, it's actually really nice. I didn't realize they did this, but they run the parade that they run during the Very Merry Christmas Party. They run that during the day at Magic Kingdom. I don't know if that's between Christmas and New Year's or just because that was the 30th. So I imagine they do that at least for a couple days. So if you don't go to the Christmas party, because they don't run the after hours parties after Christmas, you can see the parade. So that was cool to kind of see it during the day. I kind of felt like they didn't have quite as many people in between. I don't know.
It was hard to tell.
Yeah. In between the floats, like the
also
dancers.
we were seeing it in daylight versus night. I think maybe the night makes it fill in a little more just because it's dark or whatever. But yeah, it didn't seem. I don't know. That parade is not my favorite parade that they have. I think
the Halloween parade's better.
Oh, the Halloween parade. Yeah,
I'd have to imagine on Halloween. Though they do run, but I think they run a Halloween party on Halloween. Because I was wondering, like, do they run the Boo to You parade during park hours on Halloween? But I'm pretty sure they have a Not So Scary Halloween party on Halloween. So I'm guessing the answer is no. I'm guessing they don't do that.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
That definitely is the better parade. But it's nice that they do that. I think my point of it is when you're going down for New Year's, and again, it's very crowded. And so I think it's nice to see that Disney recognizes it's crowded so that they add extra live entertainment. They have special parades. They have, they do the New Year's Eve fireworks twice on the 30th at Magic Kingdom so that way, if you have kids, they can see it because it's earlier in the evening. That way you can do something else on New Year's. You can do EPCOT. it's nice that they kind of spread this out and it's all included.
Yeah.
Now, it's the most expensive park ticket you're going to buy.
Yeah.
Again, with annual passes, you're not paying any extra for it, which is nice because, yeah, if you're going and you're spending over $200 to go to Magic Kingdom and you can ride like 3 rides.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, it might not be as great because, again, if you're buying lightning lanes, it's going to be the most expensive lightning lane. And the other problem with this is, and we saw this because our friends bought the multi-pass, it's the most expensive day or one of the most, expensive times to buy the multi-pass. But because it's so crowded, you're basically only getting your 3 rides. Like, with multi-pass, you can schedule your 3 rides. And then once you have one, you can start scheduling additional lightning lanes if they're open. But what they were running into is
nothing was open.
It was noon and the next available lightning lane was
like 7, I think.
8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And so you might be able to get one extra one, but so you're paying the most and getting the least, kind of value out of it. So it is nice to see that they kind of like plus it with some of these other things. The fireworks show that they have, I thought it was a special show, like a special fireworks show they did just for New Year's, but it's actually the old Fantasy in the Sky fireworks show, which I believe is the one right before Happily Ever After, or maybe it was 2 before. But I guess that was a very popular show. So they show that one. It is cool because it's a lot more of like ride music and like park stuff and not Disney movie focused, but there's no projection mapping or anything. So Tinkerbell still flies though, which is nice.
Yeah. It's, again, not Happily Ever After. Happily Ever After is the best show. You cannot, I don't think they can ever get rid of Happily Ever After. I don't think it's beatable. It's like, if you're playing like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a Pokemon that would be unbeatable, but I guess
Charizard.
Nah, Charizard.
Charizard's the best.
If
Pokemon.
you have Blastoise.
No, Charizard's the best.
No,
he can turn that water into steam.
Okay.
Love Charizard.
Yeah, I mean.
Let us know your favorite Pokemon.
And you're wrong if you don't say Mew. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I normally would not say Mew, but
Mewtwo. Mewtwo is better than Mew. Yes.
Mew is so much better than Mewtwo.
Mewtwo and Charizard. Those are 2 best Pokemon.
Mewtwo.
Those are my 2 favorite.
Dumb looking. Mew
He's awesome.
is adorable.
Yeah, he's adorable, but Mewtwo's way better.
Whatever. Tell Joe he's wrong. No,
All
I'm
right.
just kidding.
What's interesting? What was interesting because when I was watching it, it's okay. It's a good show. Like it's a fun show, but again, without the projection mapping and stuff, it's lacking compared to Happily Ever After.
Yes.
But it's fun. Like I noticed Pirates of the Caribbean music, Haunted Mansion. I noticed Davy Crockett for kind of like Frontierland and I guess Tom Sawyer Island, kind of which is gone. So it's interesting. It's more based on theme parks. But what is interesting is for the 50th anniversary, they made a new fireworks show, which nobody really liked. That's why they went back to Happily Ever After. And
was that Enchantment? Wasn't that
what
it was called?
Yeah. And I think my criticism of it, and I think I heard this from some other people, but like my main criticism of it is if this is celebrating 50 years of Walt Disney World, why don't you have anything around Walt Disney World? And so when I look at this, I go, why didn't they just take Fantasy in the Sky, which is more geared towards the theme parks and the classic attractions and music from those attractions, and just plus it with some projection mapping? That would have been a better 50th anniversary show, especially since apparently Fantasy in the Sky is a very popular show, that they still run it, and just plus it and make it tie into the celebration of 50 years of Magic Kingdom versus whatever they threw out there with Enchantment that, lasted 2 or 3 years, and now we're back to Happily Ever After.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. Was it the best? It was great fireworks. It's not the best in terms of a on the castle show.
Right. What I found to be so surprisingly fun was on that night they did have a DJ out in front of the castle. So
after in between the 2 shows. So I think the first show first fireworks were like 7 or 8. I want to say.
Yeah,
And then
something
the
like that.
next one is at midnight. But they do the full countdown. It
Yeah,
is
they did the countdown at 7.
Happy New
Yeah,
Year's,
they do that.
everything.
Yep.
So
Yep, the characters countdown.
I texted a picture to my mom like, hey, it's 2026 already here in Florida. So, but yeah, then they have a DJ for like 3
And
or
the
4 hours in
DJ,
between.
again, like,
it was 2 DJ. It was a man and a woman.
yeah,
at
they
Magic
were 2,
Kingdom.
and
Yeah.
they kind of like went back and forth. Like,
Yeah.
you know, one was sort of acting as like almost like the
The
hype
hype,
person,
yeah,
and
most-
the other
yeah.
person was like actively like DJing. But it was a really cool thing because I guess I would assume that Disney would only play Disney music or maybe like popular music, but they played Golden and K-pop Demon Hunters many times.
Oh, they stopped playing Christmas music too. You were very
I was
happy in
so
the parks.
happy that they stopped playing Christmas music. Again, if you didn't hear me just going
Rant.
off about Christmas music in the parks, listen, I love listening to Christmas music. I am not a Grinch, but when I am in Walt Disney World, it's the time and place I want Walt Disney
wanna hear Disney
World
music,
music.
yeah.
Like I want to hear my songs that relate to the parks. And to me, Christmas music feels very much out of place. That's like my home music. But my
But Golden, K-pop Demon Hunters, that feels right at home, right?
absolutely.
Of course, yeah.
Right? Like, because again, I mean, there's something. K-pop Demon Hunters very much. It feels very much like a Disney movie, and it's what Disney movies lately I feel like have been lacking. They've hit it better than Disney has been hitting it like lately, as far as like just the music is really on point, creating characters that are very relatable with stories that are very
What about
relatable.
Zootopia 2?
I didn't really
You didn't like Zootopia 2?
like Zootopia 2
Oh,
that
okay,
much.
okay.
It was fine.
Okay.
Also, it's a musical too, right? Like I
Yeah.
think that's. I'm not comparing it to like the Pixar movies. I'm not comparing it to, you know, the last Pixar movie we saw that wasn't.
Well, Frozen 3 has some big shoes to fill now.
Oh yeah.
Just to come back from that. But yeah,
Yeah.
So the DJs, you're right, they weren't playing just Disney music. They were playing
And it was-
pop music.
It was really
the popular
it was
music, top
very
20.
fun. It was fun like having like a little dance party in front of the castle.
Yeah, they're
with
right in
our
front of the
friends.
castle. Yeah.
The interesting part, and to be expected, as the night went on, the crowds did thin. We were able to get really close to the castle right before the fireworks show.
Yeah, after that first show.
It started to get a lot better, and like we were just out there like, you know, jumping around, dancing. We had a little bit of space. Like like I said, there were 6 of us at that point. Just kind of like partying and dancing in front of the castle and just having a good time.
And then it worked out because we left like right before the second fireworks
we
show
literally
started.
left like 10 minutes before the second fireworks.
Oh, and we found out for that show, because we left as that one was going on and we got on the monorail to go back to the TTC, they also shoot fireworks off in the middle of the lagoon
Yes, they do.
for that show.
Yeah, actually,
So-
our monorail got held, and we were like so excited. We're like, we're gonna be able to watch fireworks from the monorail, but they wouldn't let our monorail go off while those fireworks were going on.
It got held for a little. They were definitely. We moved while they were going because
No,
we didn't get held for the whole show.
not in the lagoon. They all went off before we left. Because they were
Oh,
shooting
yeah.
them
'Cause
off
it
prior.
was like the tail end. It
arrived,
was like
I
the
believe,
tail end,
when
yeah.
they were going off, but it was like at
Yeah.
the finale. And so I was like, oh, we'll be able to see
You're
it.
right.
And,
It was the
we
tail
heard
end
all
of
the
the show.
booms
Yeah.
from inside, I think, the monorail. We were just sitting there.
Yeah, we were able to see some. You're right. It was the tail end of
Mm-hmm.
the show. But yeah, so that's something to note too, that they kind of shoot off
There are
fireworks.
fireworks kind of
both.
like a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's cool. So I think that's what, like, my point is, it's like an after hours party where they have a DJ, they have special fireworks.
It's Disney, but not
So-
Disney. You know, like how Disney is over the top about things. It is still over the top, but
Yeah.
also it is not super Disney specific. So if there's
Yeah, it's not
somebody,
like Mickey and Minnie are up there dancing.
yeah, it's not like you know, if somebody in your crowd with you is not a big Disney fan, they could still have fun. But also, like, as a person that like loves Disney, now I could see people saying it wasn't Disney enough. Just like I say whenever they play Christmas music, it's not
Right,
Disney enough.
Right.
But I never personally had that feeling when I was there seeing that, because I was just like, wow, this is such a cool experience. And you know, we're not big partiers. We don't go out dancing a lot or anything. So for me, it was like a night out, but then also the location was just incredible. You're in front of the castle. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
this is so cool.
It was a lot of fun. And so, like, as fun and as crazy as Magic Kingdom was, like, Epcot was on a whole other
It was
level
a different stratosphere.
for New Year's Eve. So we go to Epcot. Not much happens during the day. I was expecting more throughout the day. Each country celebrates New Year's during their time, and we knew that The problem is,
most of them are in Europe.
well, they all happen at the same time.
Yeah,
so
most
like,
of the countries are like European and are on the same time zone.
Or
yeah.
like, Japan, China, they happen at like 10 in the morning. So unless you're there, like when the park opens, you're missing them. And then, yeah, you have basically, I think like Italy and France are at the same time.
Was Morocco?
Morocco's around that same time as well. And then UK was the only one that's a little bit different. So you can't really see all of them because multiple happen at the same time. But we were in France for their New Year's because that happened at like 5, I think, in the evening. And then the UK, I think, was an hour after that. So we were in the UK as well. I got some fish and chips and celebrated the United Kingdom's New Year's there.
This to me was very heartwarming. So I think that Disney has a very, I'm not friends with cast members, but I feel like very much like they have a tight set of rules that cast members have to follow. But when we went to see, I think it was France, right? France was the one that we went to see.
France was first.
Yeah. So we went to see France because we knew that they were about to have like midnight there, and we kind of were looking for the cast members, and then we ended up finding them because there was just a bunch of people gathered around, and there was a bunch of cast members.
They were back
all
by
gathered around.
Impressions de France.
Yes.
Back by the Circle Vision show.
Yeah, and then they started like doing the like the soccer chants, like were they doing like ole ole ole, like, and they were just having the most fun. We kind of cut the tail end of that because we were looking for them all over, and like nobody really could tell us where they were.
We knew like, okay, they celebrate, but we didn't know, is it fireworks? What happens? So we asked some cast members, and they're like, yeah, they do something, but yeah, they didn't know. So we were just kind of wandering around. So really what it is just the cast members there kind of get together and count down together. Right. So there's no... if you're not there...
it's not an official thing that happens.
You're not going to know that
and
it happens.
This was even further displayed when I went over to the UK to try to find what was going on. And so I found a couple cast members. They were running around looking for their cast member friends, going, where's this person? Where's this person? I really want to find this person. So it was cute because I could see that they do develop like a family over here. They're away from home. They wanted to celebrate together. And at this moment, like, they got to be people. They weren't really like fully cast members. They were just human beings looking for their friends and trying to have a good time. That for me like increased my enjoyment tenfold. So I was watching,
and then they shut the entire UK pavilion
down.
yes,
and then they did it in the it wasn't a very intelligent way.
They were in the middle
this.
of the roadway.
Well, they picked the middle of the walkway in Epcot, like right by the Rose and Crown.
Yeah, right.
It was right there, and so they were all like jumping and like, again, all of the cast members like creating this like whole thing, like this whole like scene and celebrating together. Again, really fun. But they just so happened to just pick the middle of the road, and it was making people very mad.
Well,
like, it was kind of funny, like, to me, and I was also like, dude, just get over yourselves. Like, they're enjoying themselves. I heard somebody even go like, they need to do something about this. I'm like, they are them. They are the ones creating the problem.
Yeah, I think
but
they
were having fun. That's what mattered.
The problem was they were out there. It created a bottleneck, and it was like right at dusk. So then it got dark. And so you really couldn't see. And so it was very difficult because it
created a traffic jam there for a long time.
We needed to get through that traffic jam after the fact to get to the silent DJ. So again, Epcot basically during the day was just Epcot. I was expecting
it was underwhelming.
Yeah, I was expecting kind of more to happen. We didn't go to Geo 82 on New Year's Eve, but we did go there earlier, so we got to experience that. That's a very nice lounge. I just want to throw that out there. Very nice. It ties in very well with Spaceship Earth. That was a lot of fun. So
yeah, I will say that we went to 3 different like bars while we were there. Essentially, we did
Geo 82. We did Beacon Barrel, which we had done before
with our friends, and then we also went to Oga's.
We did go to Oga's.
So we went to those 3, and for me, as a I like sweet drinks, or I just don't really enjoy drinking that much. Geo 82 does not have a very wide. It is much more.
They don't have a great selection. Great vibe, they don't have a good.
Though. Yeah, they have a great vibe, but like if you're not really like into like very strong drinks, you're gonna have a hard time finding something to drink there. Whereas like Oga's and Beacon Barrel, I actually just chose 2 non-alcoholic drinks, and I was just
because they're more like in the theme park. Is
Right.
like I will say the cool thing about GU82,
Oga's drinks were really good. I really like Oga because they do one with Powerade, and I just love Powerade anyway.
They get a lot of kids coming in there too.
Right.
You know,
Well, it
like,
was cool too because we got to sit at the bar, which was awesome. So, we got to meet up with some Star Cruiser people and like met people that we didn't even know, like some locals. And it was cool because we got to be by the bar, and I always love being there. I feel like that's like, I always like sitting at the bar, actually. I just think that there's a lot going on there. I like watching the bartenders. I think that...
I like being by DJ Rex.
No.
I will say the cool thing being at the bar, though, we learned how they do the dry ice. How they fill the dry ice. They have like a machine that fills those up. The cool thing I liked about GU82, the atmosphere was really awesome. I liked all the geometric patterns and shapes and everything that ties in. But it's interesting because their menu, it is like, what type of glass is this going to be? Is this shaken or is this stirred? What type of ice is it? And so like they have that you can then kind of see each drink, like what you're going to get with it. So
that was cool.
It was a very kind of sophisticated vibe to it.
My favorite thing is that we sat in these little chairs, and we were next to 2 other tables that were pretty much identical to us, and we
all ordered the same drinks.
We all ordered the exact same thing
because we all have the same waiter, and those were the 2 drinks he recommended, and everybody ordered them.
I think that's part of that, and then I think it was partially, again, limited menu.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a cool vibe there. I just really wish that they would like expand. I would love to go back. I hope
I'm sure they will as popularity wanes. Disney does this. They change the menus, they refresh it. You start with something small, you kind of own that, people are going to come, and then you kind of expand out from there.
Yeah. We also did get to go back to oh my goodness, what is it called? The Space
220.
Space 220.
Yeah, we did, which I really enjoyed. We've not been
I
there
feel
in
like
a while.
The first time that we went there, we were a little underwhelmed by it.
I thought the food was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was really good this time. We had a great waiter, a great company. Like we had a great time with the people that we were with.
Again. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was cool. To like our friends' parents had never been there before, so it was cool to just like see their first reaction to it. And I liked my food and.
I'd get back. I feel like you're right. Like I feel a bit underwhelmed the first time we went, and we were kind of like, we don't need to go there again. And we've just, I don't want to say actively avoided it, but never really made an effort to make a reservation or to try to go there. And this time, our friends, our parents wanted to go, and so they asked if we wanted to join. So we did. We'll go again, and it was I enjoyed it. I was like, I will definitely go here again. You got a drink there, that you liked. It was some sort of fruity drink.
Yeah,
I don't remember if it was. I think it was non-alcoholic.
Yeah, I literally, it was just weird. I think it was GO82's drink was so strong that it just continued to last me for the rest of the trip, and I wanted no more alcohol.
Yeah. But yeah, so throughout the day at Epcot, not a lot going on. We probably could have left and gone back to the hotel for a little bit and come back in the middle of the day because there wasn't a lot happening. Again, we were just worried about, does it hit capacity?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I don't know. Does it hit capacity anymore? Because I remember
I don't know. I was looking to see. Yeah, I never got an alert in the app or anything that like the park is closed, so I don't think it did. Yeah,
like earlier on in our podcasting days, I know we've covered before like park capacity and it hitting that, and it usually is like around New Year's, like between Christmas and New Year's. So I was worried, but I don't know that it ever did hit.
I mean, they had a lot of people in there. Again, like trying to walk through the UK pavilion. I
mean, there were people
was insane.
that like they had to get up and over like some
stroller.
They lifted,
over,
there was
like
a little garden, right? I felt like real bad, but it was just like we had like in order to alleviate some of this traffic, like we've got to get around it. So people were helping them pick up the stroller and move it
because it was dark too. You couldn't see where you were going. Like you didn't see there was a chain there, so they were stuck. It was tough.
I will say, like, with the exception of that, the traffic was generally better in Epcot. because
The walkways
the day
are wider and
before in Magic Kingdom, because of the number of like families and stuff, like they were just more, and again,
Strollers,
nothing
everything.
nothing
Yeah.
against it, but like strollers and jazzies like do create, like, because streams of people will step in front of people in jazzies and people with strollers can't run those people over,
Well,
right? Like
Magic Kingdom, I think the problem there is because there's definitely strollers.
There's just a lot of
There's
pinch
definitely
points.
strollers and stuff at Epcot too. The walkways are much thinner.
Yeah, the
World
pinch
Showcase has a lot wider walkways, so
That's
that
what I'm saying, yeah.
that helped. That helped overall. Yeah, the UK was just tough because it was right after they had celebrated their New Year.
Yeah.
And like you said, they were all in the middle of the road, so it was crazy to get around
and
there.
then like nobody could get out.
After that, it was pretty easy to kind of get around. It was definitely crowded, but it was easy to get around. So yeah, so probably like 6 o'clock maybe. I think because that was when the UK had their New Year was at 6 o'clock, and then after that we went over to the silent DJ.
Yeah.
So
that's
that's about when the activities started.
Yeah.
So they had 3 DJs in 3 different countries. So they had one in China, one in Italy, one in Japan. We did not go over because we stayed in World Showcase the whole time, but I did see they had a live band over like in front of Spaceship Earth over there because I think like Goofy was there dancing.
There were characters over that way.
We never ventured over back that way. And then they had silent DJs in like the building in between the UK and Canada, which is typically covered with a wall. You might not even know it's there. Mm-hmm. They use it sometimes for festival. Like before they built...
those are like the best of the festival sometimes,
well,
right?
I think it's before they built the new center of Epcot and they put a festival building in there. They used to use this building when they would have that. So it's not something they use very often, but they have this. And so they had silent DJs. There was 4 DJs there, and I think there was 5 channels total that you could switch because there were 4 DJs.
Yeah, it was
and the 5th one was just Disney music. It was just like Disney radio, basically.
Yeah.
And then they had 4 live DJs playing. So they had somebody playing stuff from like the 70s and 80s. They had like top 20. They had a K-pop channel.
There was a Latin
channel. So it was a lot of fun just like flipping through all the channels and stuff. A lot of people in there. That was nice too because it was warm.
Yes. And then like it was really cool. So my critique up front about this was that I was like, I'm not going to like it because it's going to be very isolating. You're wearing a pair of headphones. You didn't want to go very long. Yeah. I didn't want to go because I was like, oh, this is going to be isolating. You're going to feel like you're in your own little like world. And it ended up being like so much fun because when you get in there and you see other people, like everyone's kind of doing their own thing. But then, if depending on your group, like our group ended up syncing up a lot on like what we were listening to. You could tell by the colors on your headphones. And so we were almost like having our own little like microcosm of a party within the bigger party. And so that was a lot of fun. Or like we would flip stations because we're like, we're not really like this song's fine. And then we find something else. A lot, yeah. And or like the one station, it was like it wasn't 70s and 80s. It was like I don't know. I just feel like it was like 70s to 2000s hits. Like because there was like Elton John they were playing. Yeah. I know that Can't Touch This came on at one point in time. So it was just a wide swath of like still popular music, but it was just like a lot of fun. We'd switch to another station and be like, oh yeah, check this one out. And then like K-pop Demon Hunter would come on and we'd be like, yo, make sure you go to this channel. Like it was a lot of fun.
It was interesting to see too, just like the large groups of people. Like you had this whole group was all listening to the same station and this one was all listening. And then there was one station that was like overly popular because you could hear people singing along and kind of going along with it. They were all cheering at the same time.
I know when we went, because we ended up going back there later, but when the first time we were there too, it was really cool. There was a husband and wife and they were dancing to like the Latin music. Like they were dancing. That was really cool to see. So it's just like everyone was sort of having their own little party and having.
So what would you say what you were doing was then? If they were dancing, were you fake dancing?
I'm talking like more like
were you
they were like salsa-ing. I don't know what they were doing.
You were more flailing then. Was what you then? Yeah, your dancing is more of a flail about.
Whatever.
You did do the worm though. You busted the worm out.
I did
on the floor at Disney, which was a brave choice, I will say.
I mean,
you do a good worm. You can only do it in reverse though.
Yes, I
correct?
can't go forward. I can only go backward.
Interesting.
Yes.
But that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I will say I feel like I flipped through the channels a lot because there'd be like a good song, and then I feel like the next song maybe wasn't something I was as interested in. And then it was a bit of FOMO of like, wait, what's everybody else listening to? Is there a better song on the other channel?
Yeah.
So you just kind of keep
There's a little bit
flipping
of that going
through. But that was a lot of fun.
And I will say that was interesting because they were more like DJs like I feel like we are used to, like where it was just a curated list of songs and they would roll from one song to the next, as opposed to what some of the later things
they
that
weren't
we
like
went into.
they weren't mixing in as much. Yeah, more.
Yeah,
of a
we
playlist.
play a song and then we sort of like blend the end into a new song.
Also, the other nice thing is that it was warm in there, so like we did end up going back at the end of the night after New Year's, after the fireworks, because it was so cold. We're like, we'll go back in there for a little bit,
and we were having fun.
Yeah, and kind of warm up. And we shut that place down. We stayed until the end, which was cool because that was cool to see because at the end
they played "Time of Our Lives."
No, but all the channels sunk together.
They merged to "Time of Our Lives," and then that was it.
And then it was it. And they're like, okay, see ya, time to go.
I mean, they weren't that.
Yeah,
rude, but
1 o'clock. They're like, get out. So yeah, we shut down EPCOT. But then the countries had DJs, and we went to all of the countries. They were pretty good. The main one though, the best one, was the DJ in China.
Yeah.
They had a dragon that breathed smoke there. This guy was like he was mixing everything. It was so good.
Yeah, he was almost going at times. I like turned and I was like, dude, this guy's actually going too hard.
Yeah, he hit the smoke button so many times it ran out of smoke. Like you could hear it.
And there was also fire. Like there were fire cannons on top of all like the scaffolding.
But
and
you could hear the dragon trying to blow smoke, and nothing was coming out because he kept hitting the button so much.
Yeah, and then like the fire sometimes would be timed. It wasn't happening often, but
he had to
control the music.
He had to control it. The DJs have to control what's going on somehow, or they have somebody who knows what's happening, because all of the DJs, everything is well timed. The lights, they all have smoke in some aspect. China was the only one that had fire, but it is all time. Like, they're building a beat, and when the beat drops, the lights hit and everything changes. So either the DJ is controlling that, or somebody very tied in is controlling that, because it is so well timed.
I will say, I think that was clear to me in Italy. So we did go over to Italy for a little time, and there were like people. There was a like a little balcony, and there were people up on the balcony. And at first I was like, dude, is that like a VIP spot? But I think that it might have been like lighting people or people that were tied in with the DJ at some points. And again, like, check out all the different DJs. Like what the DJ, for example, over in Italy was playing wasn't really my type of music. So like that was probably the DJ that I felt least attracted to staying there.
It was all very similar. I just feel like, because we went to see all of them because we wanted to see what like all the different offerings were. And I feel like just the energy of the DJ in China and the fact that they had this dragon.
I do think he was playing, in my opinion, the best of the music, though, too.
It was just more like there was a lot of people in there. The way it was set up, you could, like, the group could kind of congregate better. You could be underneath the dragon in like where the fire was happening. And he was DJing in more that he wasn't just playing the songs. He was adding like cutovers and beat drops and like building the beat, building into the songs.
He was very good.
Whereas I feel like the other DJs were good and they were doing that to some respect, but not to that level. They were more playing like one song to another, and it was all, I mean, similar music. It's all kind of popular songs that you have, but it was more of like a rave almost feel over in China, where I feel like Japan and Italy,
it was more subdued.
It was more subdued. People were there and having fun, but it wasn't like as crazy as it was over in China. I will
also say, though, Italy was so loud because it was nestled in between the buildings, and I felt like it was very like echoey in there. That was another reason why I didn't really love it over in Italy, just because it was so all-encompassing.
And what was that guy's name? He was like DJ Jonathan or something like that. Like, he had the most non-DJ name of all time. It was great.
Yeah, he was
like an older guy. Like,
he was an older dude.
Probably
like
he
was
40s,
playing
50s.
And he was probably playing like the majority of what he was playing was like what I would consider like millennial music, like early 2000s. But then he would stem back and get.
I was expecting like
pull in some other
Marshmallow,
stuff.
the guy with like a marshmallow head or something. The way this guy was playing, and it's like
He
no,
was
it's
so
DJ
good. Yeah,
Jonathan.
he was incredible.
Because they have like they play like their names. They have like a little tag.
Yeah.
Because Italy was Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde.
And then I don't think we heard who was at Japan.
We were
didn't
because
stay
I think
long
we
enough.
went. We got the I got the sake slushy, which was a terrible call as far as being cold, but it was really good. Like I will actually get that probably when it's hot out sometime.
Yeah. So we kind of just like listened. We were next to the DJ.
Yeah, and I mean, I enjoyed him, but again, it wasn't to the same extent. Like we could just tell, like not to the same extent that China was.
We heard.
So,
there were other people around us in China saying like this is the best. Like they were calling people like you need to come over here.
Come to China.
But it was just funny because this guy's going so hard and it's like DJ Jonathan. And we're like, what? Who is this guy?
Yeah, between China and just like the silent DJ, because I mean, very different aesthetics, but both very cool. Like those were definitely my two favorite places.
What's amazing, we had talked about on January 1st because we left the 1st, so we really didn't get to the parks that day. But we had talked about like I almost wanted to go over to EPCOT and see if they had all the stages torn down because they built giant stages in the middle of all of these countries.
I had no idea what the guy that was running China was like until like way later when I got up on my tiptoes because he was set back in.
Yeah.
Like where the dragon head was, like there was like basically a bigger dance floor.
And that's basically at the entrance. It's right at the entrance of China, kind of looking back. And he was all the way back.
But then, this like the stuff that built like kind of the body of the dragon was a lot longer than I thought it was. And so he was like really set back in. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. He's all the way back there. And that's the DJ. Like, so it was a lot. And it would have been really interesting to see how quickly they were able to break that down.
Yeah, and their fireworks show, they do a thing at midnight, and they basically go around and they kind of acknowledge all the countries, and they
shoot the fireballs from the countries,
right? And they say like at 10 a.m. our friends in Japan celebrated New Year's,
and they set off some fireworks, and the fireworks
PM.
were generally the colors of the countries, not always, but a lot of them, like Italy, I believe they had like a lot of green and red and like silver, basically.
But they kind of said like the times that it happened, like at 5 p.m. our friends in France and Italy celebrated, and then they're like now, Canada, Mexico, and America are celebrating, and then they do a countdown and they, shoot a bunch of stuff off. So they don't have, it's not a show like where they do, a predefined show like Fantasy in the Sky. They do run Luminous earlier in the night, so that happens at like 6 or 7 o'clock, I think. So we were able to see Luminous earlier,
get you in your feels earlier in the night.
Yeah, and then you have this show, but it's more just fireworks. But it was really cool because we were by Italy, and so we were actually able to see Magic Kingdom fireworks going off in the distance as well when Epcot fireworks were going off. It's a lot of fun. Though.
Can I talk about how both effective and much I hate Luminous for a second?
Yes, you may. That's fine.
It is very emotional. Yeah. And I'm like, it makes me sob, and I hate it.
I think it might be. I mean, Happily Ever After is great.
No, it's not better than Happy.
I will say, we also did see Fantasmic. I went to see Fantasmic for you, and it confirmed my opinion that Fantasmic is, I'm going to say, the 4th best nighttime show, and Animal Kingdom doesn't even have one. Because, Luminous is amazing. It's like Happily Ever After, Luminous, and then way down the line is Fantasmic. It just doesn't It just doesn't make sense.
So back to me, since you hijacked my
go ahead. I just wanted to point out. You're right. I was just agreeing with you that Luminous is super effective, and it's a great show.
It is a very good piece of storytelling. But yeah, like there's that one part, and you know it if you know it. It's just like, holy moly, like this is like so dark and relatable as well. So but
that's my point.
It's crazy.
And I think that's my point of why Fantasmic doesn't hit for me. Because
it's not as emotional.
The story, it's this crazy story.
Mickey is dreaming. It's not very difficult. Mickey is dreaming, and all of these creatures are coming and like attacking in his dreams, and then he kind of realizes I'm in control and I have magic. Like, it's fun.
But so are we supposed to believe that the entire Disney universe is Mickey's imagination? Are
No,
we?
he's in universe.
He knows it, and now he's just imagining stories about them, or these people are real, getting it into his imagination.
You're thinking about it way too much.
It's just
way too
It's
much.
very much a hodgepodge of stuff, and I feel like it
is
doesn't tie into.
Let's talk about the Jafar snake and how cool it is.
But I think my other point, real quick, is just that it also doesn't tie into Hollywood studios. Like Luminous ties into,
or it does. He's aware of the entire Hollywoodness of Disney, and so he's seeing all of Disney's greatest hits in his mind.
That
Don't tell me it doesn't
much.
tie in.
Don't tell me it doesn't
tie in.
When then with the water screens and stuff, it just.
I think that the water screens,
I don't know.
to
There's something
me,
about it.
is when I was looking at
It's
it with
weak.
a more
It's a little weak.
critical eye through your eyes. I was like, there's a little bit too much water screens. There needs to be a little bit more stagecraft going on here.
It's definitely the third best show, and that's just because, again, Animal Kingdom doesn't have one. But yeah, Fantasmic's okay. I get why people like it. I stick by my opinion, though. I went back to see it again so I can have a more recent viewing of it, but I stick by my opinion of it.
The whole the whole mountain opens up. It's crazy. It's so cool.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, Luminous was fun. The fireworks were fun. So, I mean, overall, Epcot was a blast. It is a very different day at Disney.
Yes.
Especially once the party starts happening.
Yes.
You at your point, you're like, well, I'm in World Showcase with DJs happening and stuff. Like, it is crazy.
When you stop, I think that's a really good point. When you stop and think about what you are doing and where you are, it's like there's a weird mismatch, but also it somehow makes sense. So it's just a lot of fun. And again, like I can't, it was fun going and like being with a group of people too. It's always fun going with you, but I do find
it's not fun going with me. It's okay. I read between the lines there.
But it is fun to just like go and share that moment with other folks.
So that's what I was gonna say. I mean, I think tips, go with a group, because you're right. It is fun to kind of share that with friends. Don't plan to ride a lot. So don't go in unless you want to get lightning lanes. Again, you're going to pay a lot for a few rides. If it's really that important for you, okay, get the lightning lanes. But I would just say go in and do some of the other stuff. Do the Pirate Adventure. Do DuckTales Adventure. Just there's going to be some rides that you can get on that are maybe only a 30-minute wait.
We did 3 Caballeros.
The shows aren't bad. We went to see Canada Far and Wide. Like the stuff that's continuous shows.
By the way, that song is an original song for Walt Disney World, because you brought up a good point, and it was like, all right, America, we got the Star Spangled Banner, but we also have like America the Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you brought that up, and you're like,
maybe it's a song
is this
in Canada,
another like Canadian song, but it's not their national anthem? So then I had to go and ask.
Yeah.
And they said no, it is just for Disney. But that song's
but
a banger.
But like those shows, the continuous stuff, Tiki Room, Country Bears, the Circle Vision shows, those aren't going to have waits. You're going to be able to get onto them because it's continuous. So you can still get on some stuff.
Or your favorite.
What's my favorite? Living with the Land?
Oh, that's another one of your favorites. No, over in Magic Kingdom.
My favorite over at Magic Kingdom? Oh, Carousel Progress. Yeah, you're able to
Carousel was another easy one to get on.
Yeah, so any of those continuous ones, you're pretty good on. So you will be able to ride some stuff, and you can get on some attractions, because if you're there all day, if you're there, for 6 or 7 hours before the party starts, you're gonna be able to get on some stuff. So, but just don't plan to do a ton.
My only regret, not watching the Eras tour prior to going.
Gosh. Oh, this has been the past 4 days. I don't want to get into this. So,
because I mean, it was okay. So our whole group, we
did see the Eras tour costumes.
Oh my gosh,
we did.
Oh my gosh,
it was unimpressive. There was like 3 outfits in there over at Hollywood Studios.
Shut your dirty mouth.
Well, you love it now in retrospect, because you're like, I saw that one when you're watching the videos.
Yeah, so I was just like, so I have this thing in my mind that I'm not a concert on TV person. But the other day my plan was to finish watching one of the shows that I'd been watching and then go on and watch Brother Bear on Disney Plus. And then it just showed me the Eras tour. And I'm like, you know what? I haven't watched this.
Well, you were running too.
I was running.
Yeah, you were running.
I was like, I haven't watched this, and this is a long concert. Like, okay, I'll put it on. If I don't like it, whatever. I mean, I like Taylor Swift. Oh my gosh, I've been like so immersed in.
You went from you like Taylor Swift.
I was a Swiftie back in the day. And then she kind of
1989, Red, that
yeah,
sort
and
of
then
stuff.
she like kind of hit into like a less poppy era, more like subdued.
You went from somebody that goes, I like Taylor Swift. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, we went to see
to
what
now,
was it? Red and Reputation. Like we
No, we saw 1980 the tours.
yeah, tours.
1989 in Red.
1989 in Red. Okay.
But so you went from somebody that's like, I like Taylor's music, to in 4 hours, you are now a hardcore Swiftie of going, oh, she wears different outfits. What did she wear on this day? What did she wear on this day?
It's because I
what
have
are the secret
several
things
friends
she's
that are
saying?
Swifties, and then they filled me in, and
You
I'm
are
like, I
hardcore
get
on
it.
the lore
I
now.
get the lore. I get.
Yes.
She's like the MCU. Like
Okay.
that's what our friend said. She's
Oh,
like,
okay.
she builds
Okay.
like these lores
Okay.
and stuff. Come on.
She's not the MCU. Okay, I don't want to hear that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We are.
That's Sarah J.
I've heard
Maas.
enough.
That's right.
I've heard enough. Oh, okay. I've heard enough of this the past.
But anyway,
4 days.
what I
We're
was
not
saying,
derailing this.
what I was saying is, we actually all of us in our group dressed as somebody from Moana. Like we Disney bounded as like members of Moana. So we had Tafiti, you were Taka, I was Hey Hey. We had pretty. Oh, we had
Maui.
Kakamora.
We had everybody but
Maui,
Moana. We went to get our
and,
picture with Moana.
Oh my gosh, Taka or not Taka. What is his name? Why can't I think? Shiny. Oh man, I know his name so well, and I can't. Tomatua. Yeah, so we had like everyone but Moana. So then we went to see Moana, and so like it was cool. But I kind of had wished that I'd seen it prior to that, because then I would have glitterified my outfit in some way. But I will say, it was so cold though. I feel like most of our outfits did not look the way they were supposed to, because we had to cover up a lot.
I was perfectly prepared.
Well,
mine was exact
you also
outfit,
just
and I was glittery.
You were a head turner. I will say it so you don't have to.
I knew the Eras tour beforehand, and so I came pre-glittered and shimmery.
So Joe had on a red jacket with red glittery shoes and black leather pants. He looked very.
I stood out. Being
and he's also
6'3",
he's pretty tall.
Out. Yeah.
He got like at least 800 compliments that
people
night. Like
people were like yelling at me.
Like literally people across the way. Some guy in line like dapped Joe up, and like Joe's I thought I knew him.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I looked at him for a second, like, "Am I supposed to know you?" Because the way he said hi to me, because I could have even sworn he said my name, and so it was crazy.
It was very funny though, because it was a fun. It was one of those fun experiences that you can have in places where it's just like people are friendly, people are happy to be here.
Yeah.
And there's like connections being made with like all different types of people, because they were like looking at you and being like, "Yo, you look great. Like your outfit's awesome."
You're right though. It helped that I had like my jacket was kind of heavier, so I didn't have to put a coat over it. Like a lot of people, it was so cold. People had, I'm sure, great outfits, because we saw some other like pretty cool outfits, but I think a lot of people were bundled up to stay warm. I kind of layered underneath, and so I was able to keep my jacket, so it helped that I stood out a little bit. But here's the question, getting us back from wherever we went. But I
was gonna say, are you bringing this back to Taylor?
I guess technically Taylor is a Disney princess now. She's on Disney Plus, so this all kind of ties in.
She's more of a queen, but
oh gosh, okay. but would you do this again?
Absolutely. Not even no hesitation. I would love to do it again. I would love to do it again and have it hopefully fall in a year where the temperature is warmer.
Not too warm. I will say if it was maybe 10 degrees warmer.
No, 20.
Yeah, 10 to 20.
10 to 20.
Yeah, I would say if it's warmer than 60.
Because my outfit to an extent was ruined by the weather. And I would like to plan better. Hey Hey was very difficult to do because of the different colors that he is. It doesn't telegraph very well. We actually went to go get we got the little shoulder companion just to kind of clarify it a little bit more. But I would definitely pick something and then probably do a mashup, quite honestly, with the Eras tour. I would find a way to make it glittery, make it sparkly, just because also, being an adult and of a certain age, you don't get an opportunity to go out and dress up very often. So it was fun to go and be able to get all, I don't want to say gussied up. That makes me sound 80.
I mean, I really wasn't Teka either. I had planned my outfit. I said,
Well, yeah,
I'm going glittery. I'm going red.
And
then
black.
everybody else was like, we
Not
should
everybody.
do Moana Disney Bounds.
And then I
said, I'm not really doing this. And then I realized, Teika
You didn't realize I
black
did.
and red. Yeah, and then I was like,
because I was going
works.
to do Teika because I was like, I can make a really cute outfit out of black and red.
Yeah.
But then you already had it, so I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
I
that
bought
leaves
my outfit already.
I was like, well, this
So I was
kind of
like,
leaves
okay.
Hey Hey, which I love, but Hey Hey is going to be very difficult to do.
But I was not going to change. If it didn't work, I was just going to be like, I'm not Disney bounding with you people because I already have my outfit picked.
Well, the crazy part is like, I wanted a yellow or an orange shirt and I wanted it to be like shiny or sparkly. Like I was already going for shine and sparkle. That's like I could not find a shiny or sparkly shirt.
To your point where you felt like you didn't look a lot like Hey Hey, I don't know that anybody would know I was supposed to be Teika because, again, I wasn't. I just happened to fit in. So, but that's Disney bounding for you. Sometimes it's very subtle, and sometimes you can wear blue and you look like the genie. There you go.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. So you would do it again. I would. I think with the caveats of I don't know that I would go. Like if that was my only trip in a year, I would not do it.
Yeah.
Like I would not make a special trip. If you're not somebody that goes to Disney often,
Yes.
I would not make my trip Christmas, New Year's, because while it is a lot of fun, you are not getting the Disney experience. You're not getting to ride a lot. You're not getting to experience a lot.
You're a person that likes to like party, but again, it is like, it's not like, it's kind of like you can go into maybe a club. I don't know. We're not clubbers.
But I will say, but even with
if
that,
you enjoy that and you were like, it would be cool to do that in a Disney setting. And also, I mean, we didn't see a lot of them, but technically like kids could be there.
Yeah, but I don't know that you need to do that multiple times. Because my point, even with that, is even if you're somebody that enjoys that, you're going to be paying $200 a day to go to these parks to do this, where I feel like you could take the money you're going to spend, because that's park tickets. Hotels are the most expensive. They are as well. I mean, the All-Stars and things are pushing $300 a night to stay.
Yeah.
So it is a very expensive time to go. So I would say it worked out for us, and we kind of said, let's go, because we had annual passes. So it cost us no additional money to go. So I wouldn't necessarily, it was fun. I would do it again. It's not something I need to do every year. It's not something I would like actively seek out. I think maybe in a few years when we're like, okay, let's go down again. And again, we have DVC, so we can kind of use that. Like I would not go, I wouldn't necessarily willingly go and pay the premium above the already Disney premium you have to pay to be there for New Year's. I think there's a lot of other awesome places you could probably go for New Year's for that amount of money that I don't know that you need to go to Disney. Now, if you're somebody that really likes Disney, if you're somebody that really wants to experience it, is it worth going one time? Yeah. I would say it's worth going and experiencing once in your life. Is it something you need to do every year all the time? For me, no.
I could probably do it every year. Once a year, going to a fun party like that, I probably could do it once a year. And then again, it gives me something to look forward to. It gives me like just sort of like how the Run Disney races give me like outfits to plan, like makeup, like things to like make up or sew or whatever. I enjoyed that aspect of it, even though it ended up being a lot more rushed than I wanted. So yeah, like as far as like planning my outfit is what I'm saying. Like I had something kind of planned and then something didn't work
for
out.
Run Disney, or you're talking for New Year's?
For New Year's.
Oh, you're talking, okay, you started talking about Run Disney.
Well, no, I'm saying
I didn't know we were talking about Rush.
they're similar in that, yeah, like you're planning to, first of all, like there's an event and then also there's an outfit that kind of goes with it. And I like that combination, I think, of things. So I thought it was very fun.
You're right. It was a lot of fun. And I'm not saying it wasn't fun. It's just not something I feel like I need to do multiple times. I feel like we'll do it again at some point.
Soon.
Just
probably in the next 5 years.
I was going to say not soon. So,
yep.
but we'd love to hear from our listeners. If you've gone down for New Year's, if you're planning to go down for New Year's sometime, let us know in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, let us know on Instagram. We're at Enchanted Ears Podcast over there. But that wraps up the show for this week. I want to thank everybody again for listening. If you've not done so, please leave us a rating or a review. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks for lending us your ears.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you here next Monday.
Bye-bye.